Hi, Freya.
Hello.
Hi. So we've been talking about a key question that keeps coming up with your clients, which is around what content do I use when I'm doing content syndication. But further than that, a little bit deeper, it is specifically around when should I be introducing my brand name in the content that we're placing. And this, I know that you've been having many conversations, and it comes up quite a lot actually across all different levels of brands, sizes of business. So it is something that many people face. And I'm sure there's just hundreds of different pointers that you could consider. I'm sure targeting many, many different factors. But how have you been responding to that?
I think it's a really interesting one. And as you said, it's definitely something that comes up, not dependent on the name of your brand, how well known your brand is, or how big the company is. I think a lot of marketing managers face this particular challenge and aren't really sure where to start. So the way that we tend to unpack it with clients is many different ways. But to begin, I think it's really, really important to map your content to that buyer's journey and that content journey. So it's something that a lot of marketing managers would have done at the beginning when they were developing the content. But more often than not, it's forgotten when it comes to content placement or when it comes to this particular question. It's coming up more and more. It's what content can I use for content syndication? When should I introduce my brand? Should it be using Headley Media by way of example? Should I be using Headley Media's guide to B2B lead generation to target marketing managers, or should I be using marketing managers' pain points and solutions when it comes to lead generation? That's a clear way of defining owned content and content that is driven by your brand and content that is driven by the audience. And there's no simple answer, but really and truly, I think it's about understanding who you're targeting. So mapping your content to the different stages of the buyer's journey, understanding what pieces are more awareness driven pieces, which pieces are more consideration and evaluation pieces, and then understanding and having a clear picture of who you're targeting and even which market you're targeting them in. So, for example, how strong and how well known is Headley Media in France versus the US, by way of example? And if our marketing team, so you, Chloe, if you were, as our head of marketing, running a campaign to France, you would treat it differently to how you would run a campaign to the US, by way of example.
Absolutely. There's just so many nuances there, not only the language as the first barrier, but it's all about I think I would approach it with what else is going on in that region at the time. Are you completely fresh to that market? Is it just, oh, we think there's opportunity in France? Have you been running any other campaigns? Have you been running, awareness advertising? Is it on a mixed mode of channels? All of that type of thing. Is anyone going to know or care
Okay.
about the brand? Yeah.
I think that comes into it as well so much. Understanding why you're looking to push your brand name into that market as well. So is it an internal ego piece? Is it that the field marketing managers in that region or the salespeople in that region want it to be Headley Media first, for example, as opposed to addressing that market and that audience? And I think understanding why you're looking to place those kind of pieces into that market will really help as well. Because if it is an internal ego piece, then I think a lot more work needs to be done in that market, a lot more around awareness. And also considering why and what channels you're using. So why are you using content syndication for that market? What are you looking to achieve with that content syndication campaign? And more often than not, understanding the audience that you're targeting and providing content that is informative and educational. The content is going to be top and tailed Headley Media anyway. So it's going to be top and tailed with your brand name anyway. So you'll be doing that soft, gentle, passive brand awareness anyway to this audience. And really, the goal is to educate them, support them while they're learning about a new process or new challenges, pain points, etc. So really considering why do I care about my brand being a brand-led piece of content in this particular market? And the topic. So think about the topic that you're writing about and the topic that you're promoting to that audience. are you a known industry leader in that field? And how developed is that topic in that market? So AI, everyone is talking about AI at the moment. If you are an industry leader in AI is in its infancy. Lots of individuals are researching AI. I'm pretty confident that the vast majority of individuals worldwide won't know who the leading companies are in AI. So there's an opportunity there for you to present yourself as a thought leader. But if you are known for other technology and not AI, then it may not be appropriate for you to lead with your brand in that instance. But you can start building the foundations for you to be a thought leader and an advisor on a particular topic area in a market, especially if it's in its infancy. I think, yeah, the key thing and the most important thing is taking it back to that buyer's journey that you would have considered in the beginning when you're developing the content, making sure that you've got content for each stage, and then reviewing your specific targeting for a market. What's your share of voice? How well known are you? Who are your key competitors? A really hard metrics to identify. I appreciate that. But really get an understanding of, have we targeted this audience before, this particular market, this region? What are the local nuances? Are we well established there, or is it new for us? And if it's new for us, go back to basics, start with awareness, start with awareness-driven pieces and push them through that buyer's journey. And then at a later stage, content syndication leads should always be nurtured through marketing first. So that gives you the opportunity to start dropping in your brand name more and, pushing them through that buyer's journey.
Yeah, it's definitely it feels like it's just part of this bigger content strategy piece. Like it's not just going to be one touch that they're going to have with you and one interaction, and thinking about, where does this piece sit? Is it the first piece? Do we know these contacts? Is it, a target list? And then what is going to be the follow-up to that? I think that you do obviously want to start introducing your brand, and like you said, it's going to be there in the first place. It's going to be softly mentioned, and the transition is like, and how long is that going to take roughly? Thinking about your sales cycles, your nurturing cycles, and things like that, to contribute to that, and not overestimating your presence and influence at the very early stages. And like you said, I think, buyer's journey, and it does seem basic in a way. We're trying to get back to the roots of why we're doing this. Where are they? And again, you're right, it can be extremely difficult to figure that out. And down to the individual, the nuance of what someone knows compared to someone else. But ultimately, you do have to do a bit of this categorizing, and in combination with the targeting and the localization and all of that kind of thing, you can build that better picture.
For sure. Yeah, definitely. We covered off something, a small part of a webinar we did recently covered off this piece. And I think, the B2B marketing webinar that we did, where we talked about content strategies and alignment between sales and marketing and market reach and things like that. But yeah, appreciate the opportunity to unpick it a little bit more, because it is a pain point that we see across a variety of different companies, different company size, different levels of being established. So, we have the same conversation with startups as we do very well established, very well known brands in the market. So it's a pain point that is shared by many marketing managers, and yeah, hopefully this helps.
Amazing. And we will link out to that blog as well. And I think as well, we're going to have a checklist of how to go through this and how to combat this question and challenge internally and think it through. So that's a helpful guide for everyone coming up against this challenge.